Welcome to the Nosebleed Seats, usually with Chris Lee. Chris Lee couldn't join us today, but joining us today we do have Kyle Rich, Prince Ali, and the Crime Fighter.
How you doing?
Excellent.
Everyone doing good? Awesome.
So let's jump right into it here. This question's for both of you. What were your earliest memories watching wrestling when you were growing up?
Mine would probably be watching the NWA on TBS, Midnight Express against the Rock and Roll Express, early days of WCW, you know, Ric Flair, Sting, people like that. I was more of an NWA, WCW guy than I was WWF at the time. I don't really know why, I just was. So.
Me, complete opposite. I was a big WWF kid. Remember like Saturday morning Superstars and or was it Sunday morning, whatever. Yeah, big like Bret Hart, Lex Luger, all that stuff. I was the early '90s kind of kid.
So basically, the first show you saw was an episode of.
Yeah, it was like I don't remember the exact first show I saw because my dad would always watch it. But like I remember, like I had like the little Bret Hart T-shirt, and I was a big Bret Hart fan. I don't know the exact first match, but that's what I remember.
Just a quick question here. This makes me interested. Since you started during that era, what are your opinions of Hulk Hogan? Because like we kind of idolized him growing up. You came in on the tail end of that.
Yeah. With Hogan, it was like I didn't see what the big deal was. You know, like I was kind of bored with Hogan's matches. Actually, I thought guys like Bret Hart and I mean I'm just throwing names out there like 1, 2, 3 Kid, Tatanka, like those guys like would work. You know, and, like I was really excited about those guys. And Tatanka, man, he would work, brother.
He was the Goldberg of his era.
Yeah,
too.
He was undefeated, man. You remember that?
For about a year and a
Until he
half.
ran into Ludwig Borga.
Yeah, but hey, he was undefeated. But yeah, like I was really big about action, man. I didn't fall into the whole main event guy. You know, like a guy like Shawn Michaels, someone who could move. That's I'm like, oh, I want to watch that guy. Right. I didn't fall into the whole Hogan Warrior stuff at all.
What got you two interested in becoming wrestlers, and how did you know the wrestling business was for you once you got into it?
I was obviously always a fan. I mean, from my earliest days, I had a picture when I was 1 year old with wrestling figures that I got for my birthday. So it was something I always wanted to do. And when I was sophomore in college, I tore my labrum in my shoulder, so I couldn't play baseball anymore. And knew there was a place to train in Peoria, so talked to the promoter for probably about 4 months. He asked me if I wanted to become a referee on the show, so I did that. And then about 4 months later, I started training. And 6-8 months after that, I had my first match. And I said it was just something I always wanted to do. It's something I wanted to give it a try. So.
You just kind of answered one of my questions. I couldn't remember why I didn't remember you wrestling when I went to my first couple of NGW shows, and you were a rep. That was why. And you
Really? I did not know that.
Neither did I. Started out. I went to Bolingbrook High School, and there's a kid that just signed on with the WWZ World Wrestling Zone, which is now in Phoenix. And he told me that they're holding some tryouts. They want some cruiserweights, and like all my friends knew I was a huge wrestling fan. I always thought I was gonna be a wrestler, and so I went up to the tryout thing, and I made the cut, whatever. I don't even think it was a real tryout. It was just to get kids to come pay money to train. Ended up training with Kenny Courageous, who's actually of Indiana fame. Awesome guy. Taught me a whole lot. Trained over there for about 6 months or so, and just started going out from there.
Okay. Did you answer who your trainers were, Kyle?
I kind of had an array of trainers, really. At NGW, our training wasn't your traditional training. It was basically, like, I got into the ring. Well, this was after I learned how to bump, learned how to tie up, learned all the basics, stuff like that. But it was pretty much me getting into the ring with Ryan Phoenix for pretty much 3 straight hours, and just wrestling, chain wrestling, you know, stuff like that. Not taking stupid bumps or anything like that, just wrestling. And that was, I mean, Ryan Phoenix, Apocalypse was the one who actually showed me how to bump, and you know, Corey Carter showed me a lot of the chain wrestling stuff, and then I also picked up a lot from watching tape, going to seminars, stuff like that.
What tapes would you recommend to new talents?
IWA Mid-South, cheap plug, IWA Mid-South. Get all their tapes, I'm on them.
Yeah, I probably have about 50 IWA Mid-South DVDs. 'm a mark for IWA, but that's just me. But I also picked up a lot from watching tape, going to seminars, stuff like that.
What do you think? 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 What do you think?
One of my favorite DVDs to watch is probably Jim Cornette's Secrets of the Ring from Ring of Honor. It's not really a show-how of wrestling, but it's more of a character, kind of what to expect from wrestling and how to act professional in wrestling and stuff like that. I mean, it's a really good DVD. I think a lot of people should pick that one up.
Even if you have no interest in becoming a pro wrestler, it's very entertaining DVD as well.
Jim, I'd wish I could sit with Jim Cornette and just listen to him talk for hours, because he knows. I can't even imagine how much stuff he knows.
And how long have you been wrestling, both of you?
I've been wrestling for 4 years.
I'm closing in a little over 6 years now.
Organizations you both wrestled for? If you can remember them all. Ollie.
Oh man.
And just give a count, because I read your MySpace and there's like several dozen on there.
Yeah, I've worked. If it's in Indiana, Ohio, Wisconsin, or Chicago, or Illinois, I probably worked at. If you want to know, just go to my MySpace, man. It's like WWZ, NGW, Fire Pro Wrestling, MEW, Windy City, Elite, IWA. IWA Ontario in Canada, just a bunch of stuff, man.
That's www.myspace.com/Prince Ali Wrestling.
Correct, yeah. Check it out. There's a lot of dates up there and some videos and stuff.
Okay.
Just before we leave that, you said you wrestled in Ontario. How did you
get up into
get up there,
Canada?
yeah.
Canada. The Tomaselli brothers, Vito and Sal Tomaselli, are the best connection you could possibly have in the wrestling. I owe a lot to them. Those guys did more for me in 3 months than I did for myself in 6 years, and that's legit. Got into Elite Pro. I started really restyling myself. If you watch an Ali match from last year, and you go watch an Ali match this year, they're two completely different things. There's a lot more psychology. It's a lot snugger. It's not based on how much you do. It's based on how you do it now. And they just helped me a lot. And they said, hey, you want to go to Canada? I was like, yeah, why not? All right, jump in the car with us. Let's go to Canada. Went there, and that honestly, and I'm not just saying just because it's Canada, that was the best crowd I ever worked in. It was IWA Ontario All Pro Wrestling, and man, it was like 235 people in a small gym. It was packed, and like those are wrestling fans right there. Like they respected you, and they weren't like the smart little mark types that were like, cheer the bad guy. If you're a bad guy, that boo you. And it was a really pleasurable experience. And right now they're on hiatus, which sucks, because they had to cancel 2 dates. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Canada was by far the most fun I've ever had.
Kyle?
Well, I've wrestled for probably 10, 12 feds. I don't really like traveling very much. I just don't like riding in a car for very long.
It's not fun.
Yeah, it really isn't. But I mean, I like the places that I work consistently. SCW and NGW are really the only two places I consistently work. I've been to Indiana, been to down by St. Louis, wrestled in Chicago. But really, I'm just not real big on traveling.
And you've pretty much wrestled for most of the downstate Illinois big organizations at least once, like GAW once at least, New Midwest at least once.
Yeah, I've wrestled GAW twice, New Midwest 4 or 5 times, and then some of the St. Louis feds. Fist, yeah. And there's a couple other ones I can't really remember the name of right now, but yeah, I don't travel too much, but I'll go around, I guess.
Okay, I've got some. We'll move on to more focused on you guys, instead of moving on to questions about the NBS show. So your favorite match of all time, your worst experience you've had in wrestling that you'd rather forget ever happened. So I guess it's your favorite match that you've had.
My favorite match that I had. I'm a big fan of gimmick matches. I enjoyed me and Ryan Phoenix's no rope barbed wire match. I look back on it and I wish we would have done more with the barbed wire. It
was pretty nasty, wasn't it?
Yeah, but you always wish you could go back and do more when you actually watch it and think, man, I wish I would have, you know, done this, done that, something like that. I enjoyed the couple of times I've wrestled him have been fun.
Yeah, now you're a tag team.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yes. Matches against Brett Gakia, always a good time. Merrick Brave. I wrestled a match against Merrick Brave and Danny Daniels in Iowa, which is one of my favorite matches.
Was that No Limit?
No, it was SCW.
SCW.
I hadn't even been in the business for a year yet, and I mean, you know, they worked with me, they gave me a lot of stuff, and after the match they both put me over pretty well. So that would be one of my favorite learning experiences as far as a match goes.
Cool.
Your worst?
My worst experience,
Without burying anyone or going
Wrestling
too
Gilbert
negative.
Lewis.
Yeah.
I love Gilbert Lewis.
Probably one of the two more major concussions I've gotten. I was wrestling a tag match with CJ Esparza, where, I mean, he hit a leg drop from the top rope. If you watch it on camera, it looks like a perfectly good leg drop, but I don't remember anything after that. Ryan Phoenix, he had me up for the Phoenix Clash, pulled me up into like a Japanese-style power bomb, and I don't remember anything after that.
Oh.
And then in GAW, wrestling a battle royal, I told Dennis Devine, well, actually I told everybody, my back is really sunburnt because I'm stupid and I was sitting in a pool all day, so please don't chop me in the back. Well, Dennis Devine decides to be a funny idea, ha ha ha, to chop me in the back. Well, so I go to chop him back, and he ducks down into it, and my hand, as you can see right there, you people can't see it, but you can see a big scar because my hand, when he ducked down, hit his mouth, cut my hand open. I mean, the fat from inside my hand was hanging out of it.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah,
What did you cut it on? His teeth?
I cut it on his tooth, and
Dennis has very strong teeth.
obviously, if he
Yes.
would just taken the chop, Dennis, just take the chop. But yeah, those are probably my three worst experiences that I've had.
Wow.
Man, as far as a favorite match, I don't have one. I don't have a favorite match because like I'm not very content with my work. I think if you constantly, the minute you're happy with what you're doing, that's when you stop growing. I mean, I know a lot of people disagree with that, but that's just my personal philosophy on it. I always find an error in a match. I always find an error in myself. I always find an error in my opponent, and I always strive to go do it better and don't let that same error happen.
What about most fun then?
Most fun, man.
Or a match you think fans should watch of you the most?
Just recently, actually, I had a really awesome match with Egotistico Fantastico out at Insane Championship Wrestling, Wisconsin, and I obviously I'm gonna watch my language, but the crowd was very appreciative, and they had a particular chant that, I mean, it was really respectful. It was a standing ovation. I was a heel still. They still gave me respect. That was just an awesome weekend because then the next day I worked IWA the first time, and I got standing ovation with that, with doing the inverted 450 gimmick. So like that weekend was probably the most fun because like that's when I felt like most appreciated and respected. But yeah, favorite match, I don't have like a favorite match. I'm like, oh, go watch this match. Like I'm not happy with that, and I know people think that's a negative attitude, but I keep cranking out good matches because of the mentality, so I'm going to keep it. As far as my worst experience, two come to mind. One was CJ Esparza, as well as I actually broke his nose at Elite Pro Wrestling, and man, like, if anybody knows me, like, yeah, I'll hit you in the ring, but man, like, the last thing I want to do is hurt anybody. And I haven't done the inverted 450 in about like a year and a half, and the Thomas always told me, like, you got to hit this move today because we're going to put you over in the tag division, and you got to hit that move. And I kept trying to like back out of it, and they put up practice mats, and I kept practicing, and I didn't hit it once, you know. And like the last time I did, I hit it clean. They're like, all right, you can do it. So I told CJ and Brett, I was like, one of you guys are gonna get it. CJ got it, and my knee. Basically, if you guys don't know, it's a 450. I'm facing the outside towards the people, like I'm gonna do a moonsault, but instead I jump back and do a 450. And both of my knees just landed right on his nose and just snapped it. And when I pinned him, you just hear him screaming. And yeah, his nose was literally bent to one side, and his whole face was blood. And when they got him out in the entranceway, there was this like blood splatter in the whole entranceway, and I just felt terrible about that. That's one thing I completely want to forget. The other thing is when I broke my wrist, and I was out for 6 months, and yeah, when you get hurt, you just kind of sit back and look at everything. You're like, wow, that's when you start questioning, is it worth it? Do I really want to do this? And yeah, that was a really, I was in a full-arm cast up to here for 6 months, and I couldn't move, and I lost all my weight. I couldn't work out. I couldn't play basketball or anything. And yeah, that was probably the worst time ever.
That's interesting to hear, because usually we're told that if you're not comfortable with doing something in the ring, don't do it.
Right.
It's surprising to hear that the Tomasellis wanted you to do a move that you weren't comfortable with.
It wasn't like they put a gun to my head. They said, hey, if you're going to hurt someone, don't do it. But their whole point is they saw me keep missing, and I hit it that one last time. They said, see, you can do it. It's more of like them trying to encourage me. They thought it was a confidence issue. With me, it was a physical. I was in pretty bad shape at that time. Like, my dad just passed away, so I took some time off, and I just came back, and I thought I was back a little too early. But I mean, stuff happens, and it's not a pointing the finger type of thing. Just stuff happens. So
I've seen the highlight of that online, and it doesn't even look like.
Yeah. When you watch it, you'll think I landed clean.
It looks like you hit him perfect.
Yeah,
and then,
but if you just see CJ, he just grabs his face afterwards.
and it looks like you grab him and kind of are asking if he's all right.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've watched it probably 10 times, and I can't even see where your knees hit him.
Yeah, that's the thing. I finally figured out what happened is, like, I didn't land like flat on his nose. It's like I scraped his nose and literally broke it that way. So yeah, man, it's a crappy feeling.
Onto a different topic. Have you ever been attacked by a fan in the crowd?
We were actually talking about this on the way here today. I've never been attacked, but I've had fans get up like they wanted to fight. One specific instance was me and Axis were working a match, and we had a spot where I threw a chair at him. Well, he ducked the chair, and it hit his manager Peanut right in the face. And fans loved her, so as I walked by, I mean, the guy got up, so I rolled into the ring and challenged him to come into the ring, and he started taking his jewelry off and telling his girlfriend or whatever to hold it, and like he was coming into the ring. And so I invited him on in. He actually didn't come into the ring, but you got to be an idiot to actually get into the ring with a wrestler.
Mainly, wanting you to come on the floor and fight him on the floor.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you get into the ring, it's
your fair game.
Yeah, your fair game. There's no lawsuits that can be put against you, and the wrestlers that weren't getting along before, well, they get along if the fan gets into the ring.
That's another thing I don't think fans understand. Like, everyone's like, oh, it's predetermined, but make no mistake about it, these guys are fighters. If you get in the ring.
Yeah, I mean, we're taught a certain way. Like, I've been taught a certain way by my trainers. If a guy slides in the ring, I instantly like know how to break your neck right there.
Right.
Like, your neck is right there. I can snap your neck. You know, I'm not saying I'm a big bad guy. I'll beat you up. No, I'm saying I'll hurt you right there, and I'll hold you down. And then a bunch of wrestlers are gonna come and put the boots to the back of your head.
Yeah.
So just don't do it. You know.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, if a fan rolls into the ring or something like that,
yeah, you're screwed.
As long as one guy jumps on top of him, well, guess what the other 2-3 guys in the ring are going to be doing? Maybe raining down fists and foots and everything else they can throw at you.
God, we'll chop you.
Actually, I'd rather punch a fan than chop
them.
Yeah.
I remember one particular incident, and you remember this one. You were wrestling Ryan Phoenix. Now, the fan didn't attack you, but when Ryan Phoenix was on the floor, this guy jumped up and started wailing away on Ryan.
Yeah, that was a situation where the fans, there were 2 fans, they came to the show extremely intoxicated.
They were teenagers, too, so they were underage drinking.
We did a...
I salute you.
It's against your religion.
Yes.
We did a spot on the outside where Phoenix went into the crowd a little bit, and as he landed in the crowd, this kid shoved him from behind. So Jeff, Ryan Phoenix, a little bit of a hothead. He's, the red hair is real. He's got a temper, and he shoved the guy back, and the guy got up, and Ryan Phoenix got him into a headlock, and the referee was right there, security was right there before you knew it, and pulled the guy away and kicked him out. Ryan Phoenix rolled back in the ring. We got a standing ovation, and back to the match we went. So, it's just one of those
I've never seen anything like that
Yeah, it
happen.
was. Yeah, just people are dumb. Don't. If you get drunk before you go to a wrestling show, control yourself. I mean, there's a difference between suspending your disbelief and
being an idiot.
Being an idiot, exactly.
As far as me, there's a lot of stories. Just with the character, it's easy and it's expected to be attacked by a fan or confronted by a fan. So I kind of gauge how much crowd interaction I'm gonna have per show if there's security there. If I know it's like a new territory, if I don't know all the wrestlers in the back, I don't know if they have my back, so to speak. And if I know there's not security there, I kind of tone it down a little bit. I just don't need that problem. But at like some shows, like at War, where I know this, and I'm good friends with security, I just let it go, you know. And the most recent one, actually, well, not the most recent one. This is the one I recall the most. Is actually when I won the NGW title from Phoenix. I don't know the kid's name, but there's this one kid that just doesn't like me, and his like dad's there, and his mom's there, and his sister, his girlfriend. I don't know what she was. I don't know if she was a girl, but I hit Phoenix with the belt after the match, and the belt went to the outside. There's this whole confrontation thing, and after the confrontation thing was over, I went out to grab the belt, and this kid's dad stepped on the belt, and he didn't have some very kind words to say to me about winning the championship, and something along the lines of bleep bleep, go back to your country, you bleep. So completely ignoring him, I grabbed the belt and I tried to pull it from his feet, but he wouldn't budge. So I kind of shouldered him in the leg and the thigh area to get him off my belt, and I pulled it. And this guy just flipped. He's like, "That's physical assault. I'm calling the cops." And he jumped over the thing and he's coming after me. I think Tripsy was out there, and I think Robbie the ref was out there, and I knew it was a situation where if I turned around and talked, it was just going to escalate. So I just kept walking, watched the back, got some more heat. I think someone threw like a water ball at me or something. Went to the back, and everything was fine. I'm changing, and then I see an officer, like a uniformed officer, walk into the locker room and said, "Can I talk to you for a minute?" I was like, "What the hell is going on here?" So it's me, the promoter, this dad, outside, and the officer just lets this fan have it. He's like, "You called the cops because you you confronted a wrestler, you jumped over the guardrail, and you're mad because he shoved you." So he told the fan to like get off the premises, and like the police offered me like an escort home, and I was like, "Dude, it's fine." And a couple of the workers were like concerned. Yeah, a couple of the workers were concerned because like the family went and like stood by my car, so it was like big, like all these big dudes just like walking me to my car. I told them, it's a show, man, and like they felt comfortable walking me to my car. I told them it's not necessary, so they walked me to my car, and it wasn't a big deal. And then like the dad started saying something again. I just flicked him off, and yeah.
Hopefully he's been banned from all future NGW events.
No, they actually still come, man. Keep coming. Give me your money. I don't care. Keep on coming.
That sells tickets. That's a good thing.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you. Personally, I don't really like it, but when you come out, a lot of the fans, spit racial slurs at you.
Yeah.
Basically saying the same thing to you that would be calling an African American the N-word, or a Chinese person, racial slurs. I don't get why these fans think that that's all right to yell at you.
I see what you're saying, but at the same time, like, I know it's a show, and it's something like I know that, like, let's say fan A wouldn't really come up to me in the street and say, "If you really are like that, then I got no respect for you. I hope you go kill yourself." But like I know normal people will not come up to me in the street and say that. And to me, man, it's one more thing that distinguishes me from a guy like you or Phoenix. I'm the Arab guy. Like, yeah, Isana D was doing the same gimmick, but I still have a different style. Like I want the fans to say that. I go up to their face demanding it, and it's not like I'm not saying anything racist back to them. I call them cracker, I call them honky. I say it right back to them. So it's like, give it to me if I'm giving it to you.
I wasn't meaning as far as getting heat goes, but I'm saying a random like I wouldn't sit in a wrestling crowd and have Booker T get in my face, and I wouldn't call him the N-word,
right,
because
exactly.
that's not.
It happened to Booker T though.
Yeah,
I'm sure it has.
happens all the time, but that is not socially accepted. But yet, calling an Arab a racial slur is more. Camel Giant is more, socially accepted than any other race, and I think that's ridiculous. I mean,
it's not something that bugs me. It's obviously something I notice. It's not something that bugs me or hangs heavy on my mind. It's just a shrug your shoulder thing. It's not. I know what you're saying, but I really don't have a thought on it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like whatever to me.
Oh, okay. Do you want to move on? We can edit this. Do you want to move on to the NBS thing or the Chicago-based questions next?
Oh, let's do the NBS.
Okay. So, ask you guys first. First of all, thoughts on the nosebleed seats in general?
I think it's, as far as, I mean, I'll sit and I'll watch, or listen actually, to most of the wrestling shows that are online. Nosebleed seats is really the only one that it looks more professional. You can actually hear what the people are saying. You got the one from New Breed, and you know, they try hard, they do good. But it's like, is that one taped from a television while they're...
You'll have to ask.
Their show is taped from, actually, the city council chambers in Urbana.
Okay, no, I meant like, when they put it online, are they taping that from a television? Because
this person who's putting it online is taping from the television.
Okay.
I'm helping.
Okay.
I've been giving him information on how to get where to get a TV capture device, so he doesn't have to do that.
Okay, that's the only reason why that show doesn't sound right, it doesn't look right online, but that's because it's being taped off of television.
Right.
The one that's aired in Springfield makes wrestling look like more of a joke than.
It's fun to watch when you're drunk.
Well, I don't really drink, so
right.
yeah. But
thank goodness it's in
good
reruns.
shows. Good shows are like ETV on Elite Pro Wrestling. I'm not just saying because I worked it. Like if you actually watch, it's good quality stuff, man. And they got multiple angles. They got promos. They set up. They'll give you a recap of last week what happened, so you're up to date with it.
I actually watched the episode of Elite TV this week. It was the first time I watched it, and it was really well put together.
Yeah, it's really well put together. And it's a couple of kids from the Elite Pro Dojo that train with the Thomases that put the TV all together by themselves, and it's awesome. It airs Friday nights. If you can't, I'm sure you guys won't get it out here. It's Elite Pro Wrestling.
Online.
Yeah, EliteProWrestling.com. Click on ETV.
And I got to see your three-way tag match.
Yeah.
Another,
You can see where I broke CJ Esparza's nose.
Buy DVDs online. They've got Hybrids, CJ Esparza, Brett Geike all have DVDs.
Yeah.
Put them on there now too.
Another Fed that does really good videos is AAW. They put out a lot of good highlight videos. You know, they put just special matches onto their online.
Their videos make you want to go to the show. I've seen some of their videos, like, I'm not really impressed with them, but then I see some of their stuff, and it's like, oh, I actually want to go check out this match now.
Yeah.
I would recommend My Bloody Valentine. It's a double disc set. It's got Jimmy Jacobs and Jerry Lynn.
You're talking about the horror movie.
No, it's Jimmy Jacobs and Jerry Lynn and Dog Collar match.
Okay,
Really good.
I've heard a lot of good things about that match. Yeah.
Before we go, I'd like to mention that we had a passing in the business on July the 8th. The promoter of the National Wrestling Coalition, Bud Chapman, died at his residence. He has been a wrestler, promoter, and trainer for many, many years. In the ring, he competed as the Red Baron until a leg injury forced Chapman to become a promoter. The NWC was started about 20 years ago and ran events throughout the state of Illinois and in Indiana. They've also run in central Illinois as recently as 5 years ago, but they have recent years stuck to southeastern Illinois and southern Indiana. But Chapman was 59 years old.